Hey everyone, it's Nikolai. So today I'm going to show you 3 different ways to bend, warp, or curve your text. Now whether you want to do something that looks like this, or this, you've come to the right place. So stick around, we're going to get right into it. Okay, so here we are in Adobe Illustrator 2022. The first thing I'm going to show you is something called warping text. Now this is simply an effect that you can apply to any text. I'm going to select this text, go all the way up to the effects menu at the top of the screen, click and hold that down, and go down to the middle where it says warp. And here there are a variety of options. We'll just start out with arc here. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see that immediately this text goes into an arc shape, and I can adjust how high that goes. I can make it go below the baseline of the text. I can also do these horizontal and vertical distortions, which give it sort of a perspective look. So you have to have preview checked in order to see all these things. I really personally like, besides the arc, you've got arc lower, arc upper, and these are really handy for, I think, applications where you might be creating a sign or a logo. You can explore all these on your own. The other one I really like is wave. This one is actually, I'm sorry, it's called flag. I get them confused. But here again, you can make this nice flag effect, and you could do the bends here if you want as well. So it's very straightforward, and the great thing about it is that it is non-destructive. So if I hit Control or Command Y to go to wireframe mode, you can see the text is unchanged. And this is the preview. Again, hit Control or Command Y in order to do that. And you can see here, if I grab this text with the text tool, I can actually select it and change it. Edit it. I can change the color, whatever I want to do, and it's still easy to edit. Next up, probably the one that is most often used, I get most often asked about from my students, and that is creating text on a path. So you can see that I've already created a path here. I'll just click on that to activate it, and then go over to my text tool, my type tool, and you see if I click and hold on this, there is type on a path. All right, type on a path is the third one down. You want to click, hold until you get that extra menu, drag it out, and then you'll see that when I go down here and zoom in, you can see that there is a cursor with sort of a dotted line going through the middle of it. And what you want to do is make sure that that dotted line and the cursor, where they cross, that's where you want to intersect your path. You click once, and voila, you've got type running on that path. I'm going to go ahead and click on my type tool and delete some of this text. If you look at this, you'll see that there are these little what there are is controller bars, and they're sticking up at the beginning, the middle, and end of your text. Now these allow you, if you grab them with your selection tool, you can grab them and pull or push your text along the path. And there's a center one, and there's a left one and a right one. So these kind of mimic the construction of a text box. I can change the size or the color. I can do whatever I want to this text. It's fully editable at this point. Now, the next thing that you might want to do with this is create text on a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my ellipse tool here. You can do that by hitting L on the keyboard and hold down Shift, click, hold down my mouse key, and drag out a nice perfect circle. I'm going to grab my type on a path tool again, and once more put that right where the cursor and the dotted line cross. Just set that right on the edge of that path and click on it, and there I have my text. So I want to do something bigger here. I'm going to just, for purposes of what I'm showing you, let's say my awesome logo, and let's make that a lot bigger. Go up here to character, and in my character panel, I can click on the type size and just use my mouse button to scroll and make that text larger. And then I'll also choose a bolder font for that too. Okay, so you can see I've got these controller bars, and this is not on the center where I want it to be. So usually when I'm doing text on a circle, what I do is I have that text selected, and then I'll go up here to the character paragraph tool and align center. Or you can hit Shift, Command, and the letter C, and it will align your text to the center. Once you've got that, I can go ahead and go down here. You can see that when I'm hovering over that controller bar, I get that little arrow pointing up with a straight line. And I can click on that and just drag it around the edge. And you might get some weird things happening. This tool can be a little fiddly. You might have it do this. You just have to sort of go slowly and carefully and kind of get the feel for the tool. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but it comes pretty quickly after you sort of get the feel for it. Okay, so I've got my text across half the circle. If I want to adjust where it's sitting on that circle, there are a variety of styles you can do, and we can find those by going up to the top menu, going to Type, and Type on a Path, and then Type on a Path Options. And here, I'm going to go ahead and select Preview, and it's got rainbow effect, which is fine. You can do this skew thing, or 3D ribbon. I really don't like any of these effects that much. I think the rainbow one is kind of what you mostly want to use it for, but this can be useful. You can align it to the center. You can also align it to the descender or to the ascender, whatever you like. Again, center and baseline typically are the ones that I use most. Flip can also be useful, so I can flip this text to the inside or the outside of the circle. All right, so those are various options you have with Type on a Path. I'm going to hit OK. The last thing I'll show you here is to create text that goes around both sides. Typically what I do is actually make a copy of the text rather than try to get it all in the right circle and get the spacing correct. So I'm going to hit Control or Command C to copy that text, and Control or Command F to paste it in front. And now I can hover around the corner here with my selection arrow, click and drag around. I'm going to hold down Shift to make sure I get that locked into the right position. Now I've got text going around both sides of the circle, and I can edit these bits of text separately from each other. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at today is something called Envelope Distort text. And to do this, the first thing I'm going to do is grab my rectangle tool and just draw a rectangle. It doesn't really matter how big, but you do just want to draw a regular plain rectangle, and it's important that you draw the rectangle after you draw the text. Or if you draw the text after you've drawn the rectangle, you want to go to right click and arrange and bring to front, because we're going to make this using something called top object. And I'll show you that right now. First, what I'm going to do is select both of these. Just click and drag across both of these. I'm going to go ahead to my object menu, and down here, about 3/4 of the way down, there's something called Envelope Distort. And again, that was the object menu. And you can see there are a few options here. There's Make with Warp, and that does exactly what we just did at the beginning of this video. It takes you to that dialog box. There's Make with Mesh, which ends up being pretty complicated, and Make with Top Object, which is the one that I found works the best. It's very simple to use. So just click OK, and you can see that it sort of jammed that text into that particular rectangle that I created. Now up here at the top, we can edit the envelope or edit the contents. So this text is still editable. We can change the color if we click on Edit Contents. We can change the text itself. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit Envelope, and then use my Direct Select tool to select one of these corner points. And now you can see that it's a regular corner point, and it has some handles here. So I'm going to grab this one, hold my mouse key down, drag that out, and you can see now I can take these handles and adjust just like I would with a rectangle that I created using one of the other tools. All of these curves are editable. I can make a lot of adjustments to this text based on just these curving paths. And the other thing that's awesome is that I can then go over here to my pen tool and drop down to where it says Add Anchor Point, grab my Add Anchor Point tool, and click right on that path, and you can see that I've created a new path. So once I click off and then click back on, I can go ahead and adjust the new anchor points, and make the envelope do whatever I want it to do. So you can create a lot of different shapes with this. It's very, very versatile. And I'll just make a nice little swish right here to finish out. The one thing I would say with this kind of text is that I would definitely use all caps because upper and lowercase can get tough to read really, really quickly. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you found this useful. If you liked the video, if you did find this useful, please hit that like button, leave a comment below. If you have questions or you're having trouble with any of these techniques, leave me a comment below and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. That's it. We'll see you next time.